Okay, welcome, Mr. Mack-Poole. There's something about Mary Queen of Scots, indeed. So what we're looking at here is a long-term rival from 1568, or really from 1558 until 1587, the year of her death. Mary Queen of Scots is a major rival for Queen Elizabeth I. Now the question is, why? Now, when I think of these two queens, these two forceful personalities, that's really all they've got in common. That they're queens and they have forceful personalities. They are like chalk and cheese. So, Mary Queen of Scots claimed the English throne in 1558. This was massively upsetting and offensive to Elizabeth I. And I don't think Elizabeth I ever forgave it. Now, she renounced her claim, Mary Queen of Scots, in the Treaty of Edinburgh in 1560 when it was clear that Elizabeth had consolidated her reign. But it was still deeply hurtful to Elizabeth. One of the major differences, and maybe one of the most significant ones, was the fact that Mary Queen of Scots was a Catholic. And of course, we should know by now that Elizabeth was a Protestant. She was a moderate Protestant, but yet a Protestant nonetheless. And so there was a religious divide. Now, what you have to remember is that the Queen, or the monarch, so a king or a queen, embodies the state. And the state religion was of paramount importance. Elizabeth faced a lot of Catholic opposition in her life, and Mary was a Catholic figurehead, someone to rally behind, a banner to follow, if you want. So, the fact that Mary Queen of Scots was a Catholic was a huge, huge deal. You have to get your head around the fact that being a Catholic or a Protestant was the biggest label that you could carry in life at this time. There was no bigger cultural label than your religion in England in the 1500s. So whether you're a Protestant or whether you're a Catholic had massive ramifications for the rest of your life. Okay? Literally, you'd only socialise with other Protestants or other Catholics. People were very insular and fearful of followers of the other form of Christianity. So people were very closed-minded at the time. So a monarch's religion, I cannot overstate really the importance of it. Now, whilst Mary Queen of Scots was a Catholic, and Catholics only believe really in getting married once, she was married 3 times. Now, she was unlucky. Okay, Mary Queen of Scots. Her first husband, Francis II, died as a teenager, as a boy. Her second husband, Lord Darnley, who she married for love and passion, turned out to be a woman-beating bisexual drunk. Not really the supreme qualities that you're looking for in a husband. And I'm not saying anything against bisexuals. But what I am trying to make clear is that he did have affairs with both men and women during his marriage to Mary Queen of Scots, which would have been hurtful to her. Now, he was murdered, and it was just one of those accidents where his body was found naked outside and a bomb, a gunpowder bomb, had gone off in his house. So this was a very strange event in history. Mary Queen of Scots was almost certainly involved in that. But I don't want to go on about the more interesting marriages. I want to talk about why she was so different and why she was a rival to Elizabeth. But the fact that they were like chalk and cheese had massive consequences. So you think about it, Elizabeth was never married. Elizabeth said that she was married to her people and she put her people first. And I really do think that she thought that sense of duty to the English people was the most important thing in her life. Whilst you can see for Mary Queen of Scots that marriages were, and in this way, bizarrely, Mary Queen of Scots is actually more conventional. A woman's duty was to get married and was to find a husband. So Elizabeth, it's the fact that Elizabeth kind of broke the rules is why she broke the mould and became such a great queen. You know, women really were supposed to get married. It was seen as their number one duty in life. But obviously Elizabeth didn't, because she was a thoroughly intelligent woman who didn't want to be dominated or bossed around. She saw the very negative consequences of marriages in her father's 6 marriages. So, Mary Queen of Scots coming to England in 1568 was a big deal, and she's put under house arrest by Elizabeth. But this means that she's either involved or a figurehead in 4 plots against Elizabeth, if not more. Okay, and when I say 4 plots, there's 3 main plots that we'll look at in the future, and 1 uprising, but you have to plot an uprising, so that's why I've said there's 4 plots. But there quite possibly were a lot more plots that we just don't know about, because the nature of a plot is that it's supposed to be secret. So these 4 plots were uncovered. Despite this kind of lack of success, because Mary Queen of Scots was executed in 1587 for treason against Elizabeth, it was her son, James the Sixth of Scotland and First of England, who inherited the English and Scottish thrones and united the two countries. So, even though she led this quite erratic and chaotic life, and even though she had the claim to three thrones, the throne of France, England and Scotland, and even though she was married 3 times, and even though she was executed, you could look at her as a loser in history, but it was her bloodline that went on to secure the English and Scottish thrones. James I, who's obviously involved in the gunpowder plot, which is why you may have heard of him. So Mary Queen of Scots and Elizabeth I, they are 2 completely different characters, but they both want the same thing, and only one of them can have it. Only one person can sit on the throne, which is why they were such great rivals.